We knew COVID was serious. I think you could tell by the magnitude. You know, when they shut down the NCAA tournament, you know it's a big deal. And I do remember, though, saying in my very first public address that we had to have parallel paths. And what I meant by that was, you know, the ability to put public safety first, but also not completely shut down our economy. I don't accept the fact that folks say that if we reopen pieces of our economy that we have blood on our hands. I do care deeply about the lives of everyone, and that means the livelihoods, and that means the literal lives and well-being of all our citizens. But also as mayor, we were getting calls that a governor or a president or even a senator wasn't getting. You know, when I had working moms and their kids weren't in school and their business was shut down and they can't get a hold of the unemployment office and they're crying on the phone, there was a charge to do something. And they said, I need your help. You know, when they look to their government and say, I need you to do something, it hits different and it feels different. And so I was such an aggressive advocate for reopening, but I never wanted to do it recklessly. I never wanted it to be a free-for-all, but we did push hard and we pushed early before anybody else would.
Well, so far, and thanks for having me on, Neil, it's been tremendous. Folks in my community have asked me to advocate on their behalf. I appreciate the president passing some control down to governors, but I think it's important that in areas like mine, we're a small community in southeastern Kentucky, about an hour south of Lexington and a couple hours from Churchill Downs where the Derby's held. We want to make decisions on what's best for our folks and our businesses.
Well, I knew if it was just me, it wouldn't mean anything. And so I gathered a coalition of mayors, and you know, we probably had close to 40 mayors sign on to these letters. We created plans that we felt like could safely reopen. The first one was chiropractic care, optometry care, and dental care. You know, if you can't go to one of these doctor's offices, but you could still go to a liquor store, it just seemed insane. And so we advocated the governor to reopen those. They did. We didn't ever hear back from his office, but they opened those, and that's all we cared about. About a month later, before Memorial Day, you know, we're living in the heart of tourism country, and our restaurants were still shuttered. And I was hearing from these business owners saying, Alan, we won't make it. You know, we will never reopen. And so I gathered that group of mayors again and said, hey, let's come up with a plan. We did that, we submitted it. Again, didn't hear anything, but thankfully, about a week later, the state reopened some restaurants and some other pieces of our hospitality industry. And I'm thankful for that advocacy. I know that there's some businesses that are open today that without that probably wouldn't be.
Some of our challenges and frustrations have been that not only is it too slow, it has been disproportionate. We still don't have childcare open for our working families here on Main Street, and it's frustrating when our working class Kentuckians want to get back to work and they can't because they don't have anywhere to safely send their kids. And so that's been a big piece of our advocacy.
And I think we were a pioneer during COVID. Once we felt like we had the data and the information at hand, we were aggressive to get it out there. And you know, it let me know too that the governor has a big hand in what goes on in every single community. I wanted more communication to local leaders. I wanted more local control at that time. And you know, the feedback that I was getting was from somebody that said, you know, we want a governor who has business experience, that knows what it's like on this side, not just somebody that sees everything through the lens of government.